So it's my office holiday party tonight, and earlier today I was having the most rotten day. I can't even begin to describe it. It was just such a profound level of grief that I was sort of taken aback by it. It was spurred on by the song White Wine in the Sun shuffling on my Christmas playlist. Dangerous to all, but that song is beautiful and emotional and difficult and complicated, and every time I listen to it, properly listen to it, not just let it shuffle past me, but sit and listen to it, it reminds me of what I've lost, and also how many people are going back to something sort of complete, even if they think that in many ways it's broken or it's fallen apart or there's a lack of connection there, which, you know, I want to say isn't true. Like, in many cases that is what's going on, but I think for a long time I thought certain things about my life were so broken until something actually broken it, and properly broke in a way that couldn't be put back together, couldn't be restored, couldn't use any of my mother's tricks for restoration. It just broke. And my adult life has been coming to terms with those kind of sharp edges to it. Not the 7 years bad luck, but the thing itself, broken on the floor, and every now and then finding a shard of it and not really knowing what to do with it. Not having the tools to know what to do with it, or sitting with it for a moment, cleaning it for a moment, and then it goes away, worrying that I'll forget that the mirror or the window or whatever it was ever broke. And that's where my head gets stuck, and that's where I think a lot of us lack that communication about what it is we've lost, because so many people, I think a lot of people, you hear these cliches about lonely people at Christmas. You hear, you know, people talking about lonely adults at Christmas, especially old people, about loss at Christmas being hard. But until you're there and you're deciding how many places to set the table for, and oh God, I just did my makeup, I can't cry right now. But yeah, when you're hearing other people talk about what they're doing, and the songs and the mythology around it as well, is to an extent, even when it does deal directly with that loss, it's a reminder. It's all a sharp reminder, and I find that extremely hard to deal with, hard to pass this time of year, especially because often my reserves, as they are right now, are so low, because it's cold, because it's dark, but also because in so many ways I still follow the structure of the school year. And this is the time where I've done that like final extra push before the break, and I've hung on in there, and then it sort of feels like everything is about to collapse in me. Not to be dramatic at all whatsoever. So I think the first part of like this ongoing discussion about how you interact with people who've lost someone, and also how you yourself deal with your own grief, is understanding that it isn't like one continuous thing necessarily, but it's finding lots of different parts of it and refinding them over and over again, but every time experiencing it in a slightly different way. At least that's been my experience of it, and I think that between people that's especially true. Like, no one, at least in my experience, no two people experience grief the same, even if it's the same person, and almost especially if it's the same person, because you're trying to connect with someone about it, but their relationship with this person has been different from your relationship with it. So that common ground, even if you find moments of, yeah, me too, you don't have that. And that's one of the most frustrating and isolating things about all of us being little brains trapped inside our own distinct bodies, is that our experiences are very different, even when they're quite similar too. And that for me is just the ongoing pain of it. And also, I mean, I have to say, there is something to feeling grief at this time of year, because it reassures me that I haven't forgotten, reassures me that this person or these people or whatever it was important to me. But it's isolating. It's certainly isolating, and it is so hard to communicate it. And even I think when I do communicate it to people who I love in my life, there's nothing that they can say that will actually take the pain away. There's nothing that they can say that will properly comfort either, because so often it comes from a place of them not knowing what to do. That's not to say it doesn't mean a lot. It definitely means a lot. It means so much to me. And it means so much to anyone who you reach out to and say, hey, like, I know that this is a hard situation for you, but it doesn't fix it. And that's because the only thing that fixes it is a time machine and some kind of essential change in one of the most guaranteed, and maybe the only guarantee in our lives. So that's where my head is at. But on another note, I'm off to the office Christmas party, so that will be fun. It's been fun getting dressed up. It's been fun having an excuse to like focus on something else, think about something else, and a deadline, I suppose, to swim up out of it a bit and I don't know, find a way through. But I'm very hungry, so I'm gonna go now. All right, bye.